Welcome to Planets and Their Meanings, Episode 5, Mars. The part of you that moves the plot forward. Mars by sign shows your native engine. Fire Mars acts fast and needs visible progress. Earth Mars builds steadily and needs proof. Air Mars needs a reason and a message. Water Mars needs meaning and protection. Mars by house shows where action pays off. In the first, train the body. In the third, make calls and ship messages. In the fifth, create and perform. In the sixth, refine process and health. In the seventh, negotiate cleanly. In the eighth, handle power and money bravely. In the 10th, lead publicly. In the 11th, build with teams. We'll talk conflict style and recovery, how your Mars fights fair, how it apologizes well, and how it knows when to stop. You'll leave with scope boxes that keep ambition from becoming injury, and simple scripts for saying no without starting a war. By the end, Mars won't just be drive, it will be the right action at the right speed for the right reason. Start with drive. Everyone thinks drive is a personality trait you either have or don't. In the chart, drive is an environment you build in a sequence you respect. You can be brilliant and still stall if your Mars never gets the conditions that help it start. Some Mars placements want a buzzer and a finish line. They run best in sprints, with a visible countdown and a moment to catch their breath. Others want a map, drawn before the meeting. They will not start until the steps are on paper, and the mess has a place to land. Some need to say the move out loud before they make it, or type a sentence to themselves that becomes a small contract. Some need a feeling of safety in the body, a room that isn't too bright, a song that steadies rhythm, a chair that doesn't argue with the spine. Otherwise, their energy leaks into self-defense, and nothing important gets done. If you've been calling yourself lazy, test the thought that your Mars might be under-resourced instead of under-motivated. Give it a better room. You will be shocked how many discipline problems melt when the engine has fuel it recognizes. The cleanest way to wake Mars up is the smallest win that changes the posture of the day, not the biggest task on the list, the most catalytic one. Send the 3-sentence email you've avoided for a week. Put the envelope in the mailbox, delete the decaying draft, and write a fresh paragraph from line 1. Move the first box to the car. Call and schedule the appointment. It is astonishing how often momentum, not willpower, is what you are missing. After that first move, Mars no longer has to argue with inertia. It just follows the groove it already cut. People talk about motivation as if it is a celestial mist. Most days, motivation is a side effect of an easy first win. Now, the other half of Mars, boundaries. A boundary is a kindness delivered early. The later a boundary arrives, the sharper it has to be, because by then, your body is already defending itself. If you want boundaries to feel like care, write them where they can be said while you are still calm. I can do an hour. I'm not available this weekend. I'll need that in writing. I'm not the right person for this request. Let's split the check today. Simple, warm sentences that protect your energy. Make generosity possible later. This isn't theory, it's blood pressure. The moment your nervous system trusts you to draw lines, it stops bracing for ambush. You will discover energy you thought you had lost. Conflict style is where Mars either becomes your favorite ally or the reason you dread certain rooms. The best question inside any tense moment is disarmingly plain. Are we deciding or discussing? If we're deciding, who owns the call and by when? If we're discussing, what is the point of the talk? Understanding, brainstorming, or a next step. Mixed modes are where fights rot. Half the room thinks you're picking a direction, half thinks you're airing out feelings. Everyone gets frustrated because nobody knows the rules of the hour. Say the mode and give Mars a track. Friction drops because the engine isn't spinning in sand. Every Mars has an element that flavors its motion, and you can use that flavor without memorizing a single degree. If your Mars runs hot, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy. Movement is medicine. You need sprints, visible clocks, and clear finish lines so you can blast and recover. Give yourself a buzzer, and you'll be a better teammate and a better friend, because you won't burn the room down just to feel alive. If your Mars is earthy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, craft is oxygen. Put steps on paper, measure progress, make the work tactile. People might call you slow. You're building something that won't collapse. If your Mars is airy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, language is the ignition. Name the move aloud. Trade ideas that sharpen the edge. Keep the air flowing so you don't lose steam inside an unspoken assumption. If your Mars is watery, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, protection is the tempo. Start early with small safeguards so you never need a dam. You do your best work in emotional safety, design it on purpose, and you won't need to rescue yourself later with theatrics. Real life is messier, so let's talk about what happens when Mars is underfed. Underfed, Mars uses sideways strategies. It people pleases into exhaustion, then explodes. It micromanages symptoms because naming the actual problem feels risky. It invents emergencies so it can finally say no to something that never should have been a yes. It procrastinates until shame becomes the whip that makes the horse run. None of this makes you broken. It makes you a person whose engine was never given an early green light. Put a small green light at the beginning of your day. The body will stop staging protest to get your attention. There are bodily tells for a Mars problem. Jaw clench, teeth on the inside of the cheek, fists that want to live in pockets, shoulders pitch forward as if the future is a hailstorm. If you catch those cues early, you can make tiny adjustments before you need big ones. Breathe into the back of your ribs, not just the front stand, and plant your feet wider than your hips. Put a hand on the desk and the other on your sternum and ask out loud, decision or discussion. Drink water. Turn off the overhead light. Text a one-line boundary to the person you're avoiding. It feels almost insulting that such simple shifts can change the temperature of the day. They can. If your Mars sits close to your ascendant, you already know the world feels like a contact sport. People read you as decisive even when you're not sure the repair is kindness in your first move toward yourself, toward others, without giving up clarity. If Mars is close to your midheaven, conflict and drive leak into your public story. People will reward your outputs and ignore your rest. You'll need to schedule rest like revenue and treat boundaries as assets. If Mars lives in the 6th house, your health and your work braid together in obvious ways. Move your body a little before you move your projects a lot. If Mars lives in the 7th, your partnerships will be both your training ground and your mirror. Choose people who can do conflict hygiene. Create rituals for repair while you still like each other. If Mars lives in the 12th, your energy can vanish into other people's moods, and the collective weather. You'll need early exits and quiet rooms long before anyone else notices the storm. People ask me about anger because Mars is where heat lives. Anger is information about a boundary that needs protection or a value that needs action. Anger is not a moral failure. What burns bridges is unprocessed anger stuffed into diplomacy until it detonates. Practice tiny anger in private, so big anger never needs to audition in public. You sit in the car. You say the sentence you wish you could say out loud to the right person. You feel it leave your body. Then you write the version you will send. Short, warm, clear. You do 10 push-ups. You walk around the block and shake your hands like you're getting paint off your fingers. You put your forehead on a doorframe and breathe until the buzz drops. After that, you decide if any action is needed at all. Most anger wanted a witness, a boundary, or motion. Give it those, and it stops trying to run your life. In relationships, Mars is the part of love that has a spine. It's how you argue without bruising each other, how you carry hard conversations without turning them into verdicts. There are 3 questions that keep love breathable. Do we need a decision or a discussion? What helps your body feel safe enough to stay kind? What does repair look like when we miss? Ask them out loud and use the answers. If your partner thinks with their feet, walk while you talk. If your partner freezes in the face of raised voices, you whisper or pause. If your partner needs touch to downshift, you hold a hand. If you need time alone so you don't go sharp, you name the return time and honor it. Mars isn't here to win. It's here to keep the connection strong enough to hold the truth. At work, Mars decides whether teams move or stall. Your meetings don't need motivational posters. They need a clear mode and a visible finish line. Decision: who owns the call by Thursday, 3 p.m.? Changes the room. Discussion: we're exploring options for 20 minutes. No solutions today. Keeps Air Mars from hijacking with 17 ideas and lets Earth Mars relax because the expectation is honest. If you manage others, find out what their Mars needs to start. Some want a countdown timer on a screen so the sprint has a beat. Some want headphones and 1 uninterrupted hour. Some want a rough draft from you so they don't have to guess the shape of your thoughts. Your job is not to inspire them out of their nature. It's to give each engine the track it runs best on, then step back and let the machine hum. You will have seasons when your Mars is asked to carry the whole building. Don't mistake crisis fitness for virtue. The body keeps score, and it will send the bill. Prepay your nervous system where possible. Schedule non-negotiable off-ramps in your calendar. Treat sleep as a deliverable. Talk to someone who doesn't need you to be impressive, and put comfort where effort lives so the grind becomes repeatable. If your life requires you to be on constantly, then your Mars needs a quiet ally. Neptune for soft, Venus for sweetness, Saturn for finish lines that do not move. The grown-up magic trick is distributing the load so no single planet has to pretend to be the whole chart. Mars retrograde natally is a precision instrument. You are not broken because you prefer to move after you've mapped. Your anger might wake up slowly and ask for accuracy more than force. You will do best with clear agreement and less theatrics. The danger is swallowing boundaries until you're furious. The medicine is earlier, smaller no's. You're allowed to be decisive without a speech. You're allowed to say, I've changed my mind, before resentment hardens your face. When a progressed Mars station's directing your life, you may feel a surprising ease in action, but you don't need cosmic permission to act now. Your timing is valid already. You're writing a manual others will thank you for later. There's a subtle part of Mars people forget: joy. Not victory, not conquest, not checking the box, but the satisfaction of using your body, your voice, your judgment in a way that feels exactly right. Joy is fuel, not reward. If the only joy in your week lives at the far end of exhaustion, Mars will learn to chase exhaustion just to feel anything. Put microjoy in the middle. Try the first 5 minutes of a hobby you used to love. Throw a ball for a dog in a park at lunch. Turn the chore into a ritual and keep the playlist that makes your spine taller. None of this is trivial. This is how engines keep running without burning oil. Let me give you a few portraits so this moves from theory to people you know. There's a project manager who used to drown in stalled threads. She began every team huddle with the mode: decide or discuss. She ended each with a single visible owner and a time. She bought a cheap timer and made sprints a thing her calendar didn't change, but her blood pressure did. That's Mars' shepherd, not sheriff. There's a parent whose home felt like a war zone between dinner and bedtime. They made 3 changes: a 10-minute pickup with music before food, a 2-sentence boundary about screens, and 1 silly physical game to shake out the hard day. The house got quieter without anyone needing to be better. That's Mars, as rhythm, not reprimand. There's a founder who fought with a co-founder monthly because decisions leaked across lanes. They drew a clean line on paper: who owns product, who owns sales, who has veto power on what timeline. The relationship deflated its drama. That's Mars as architecture. If you want to change your Mars story in a week, write 3 things on a sticky note where you cannot miss them. 1. Today's catalytic move. The smallest action that changes your posture. 2. One early boundary you will deliver kindly. 3. The conflict mode for the next charged conversation. Decide or discuss, and what your body needs to stay kind while you have it, then do them before noon. By afternoon, you are no longer living a life that happens to you. You are steering cleanly without chewing through your bit. Let's speak to the days when you're tired of being the strong one, when drive feels like a scam and boundaries feel like fights you don't have the energy to pick. On those days, Mars asks for conservation, not abandon. You can move 1 inch and still be on your own side. Fold 1 shirt, send 1 line, say no to 1 thing that will cost you 3 days. Put 1 problem on paper so it stops ballooning inside your head. Ask 1 friend to check in tomorrow because you know your resolve gets thin in the evening. Strength is not noise. Strength is a sequence you can keep even when the mood evaporates. Mars and forgiveness sound like strange companions, but they travel well together. Many people hate their own Mars because when it finally did act, it did so clumsily or loudly, or so late it broke something that mattered. If that happened, you don't need a lifelong grudge against the part of you that was trying to save you. You need a better choreography. You can learn it. You can practice it in low-stakes places until it's muscle memory. You can teach the people you love to meet you in a repair ritual that actually restores connection, a hand on the shoulder. The sentence, I want to get this right. A pause. A return time. A choice about whether we resolve it now or put it on the calendar for tomorrow. Mars that knows repair exists, becomes brave without becoming cruel. There's also the question of power. Mars is personal power, not institutional. It is the courage to take responsibility for your square of the map and refuse to carry someone else's. For them, it is declining to be managed by another person's anxiety. It is making decisions in the size you actually control and letting the rest be honest unknowns. A lot of modern stress is Mars trying to answer questions that belong to Saturn or Pluto. Your job is the next right move, done cleanly with the right amount of force, not more, not less. When you consistently deliver that size of action, trust accumulates around you. People stop asking you to explain yourself with paragraphs. They see the pattern. They relax. Before we close, I want to speak to a very specific situation. It's the moment you feel yourself going sharp. You know the one, the email lands wrong, the meeting goes sideways, your kid says the one thing that lights up your nervous system, your partner breathes in a way your body interprets as a challenge because the last time you were in that room, you lost. Put a hand somewhere on your body you can feel. Name the mode in your head. Decide or discuss. If decide, pick the smallest version of the decision you can own. If discuss, ask for 5 minutes of quiet and a return, or take a walk together while you talk. Your Mars can do this. It's not spiritual bypass to pause. It's self-respect. It's tactical. It's how you keep outcomes you care about from being hijacked by a moment you'll regret. All right, take today and give your Mars 3 gifts. Give it motion, a catalytic inch that flips the day forward. Give it a boundary, early, warm, no apology. Give it a clean mode in your next tense conversation so your engine has rails. Then thank it for every times it dragged you across a line you didn't even think you could see. The more you cooperate with this part of you, the less your life will require grand gestures, and the more it will hum with steady, grounded momentum. That's your Mars tune-up. Clean, yes. Clean, no. Clean win. If this clarified your engine, subscribe and comment with your Mars sign, chart, house, and one boundary you'll enforce this week. If you want to practice this in a way that feels tactile and a little fun, come to mysticbolt.com. Pull a spread in Tarot Studio and ask which move today deserves your yes. Use the Rider-Waite Tarot app for a quick nudge before a tricky call. Take a free tarot reading to choose a weekly focus that keeps your drive honest. When your mind won't pick a lane, tune your attention with chakra frequencies and watch how much easier Mars becomes once Mercury has a channel. And at night, wind down with the pranayama flow breath timer so your moon trusts the dark again and tomorrow's engine starts without a fight. In the comments, tell me your next small, kind boundary, the catalytic inch you'll move before noon, and one repair ritual you'll try the next time voices rise. I'll meet you in the next series, but for today, let Mars simplify what feels complicated. One move, one line, one room that gets brighter because you acted cleanly.